Okay, so we are trying to make sure that there's no hiccups. Like we said, with the transition, I definitely want to keep this one. That one looks really cool. You know, even a cut is just when the clip changes to the next clip, and that itself is a transition.
No, I gotta make a move. Sleeping by the freeways, looking for the thing I choose.
This one's good. It's fine.
I know I gotta go. I know I gotta see.
Okay, so there was that part with the sky that I noticed was way too. It was like too much. It was too long of an exit right here. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3. You know, it's just too. It's too much. So what we can do here is we can just leave it, or let's see what happens. Now, generally, in most situations, I wouldn't leave any black space or gaps, but you know, it kind of goes there, so I'm not gonna freak out about it, because it transitions, it opens into the next scene. So in this case, it's fine. It works out. If you really want to do, we could scoot everything back, but then you have to keep in mind it's gonna mess everything else up down the line. So I don't really want to touch that. It's fine. It's just the first time you go through all the clips, you need to make sure that you cut things where they need to be cut. So one more time. So it's not too long, not too short. And then boom, we're on to this next part here. Otherwise, I will say the only other thing that kind of bothered me was the spin. It just looked a little, I might have to tweak it some more. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the speed. It might be the speed. Let me check the speed on it. 50, let me go like 70. Sometimes you don't need to go that slow. Okay, see, that looked a lot smoother. That looked way better. And here's this part again. Let me see. See, this part right here will probably be the Instagram part, because it's about 137 to, 450 is, 430 would be, 1 minute? So, I mean, yeah, Instagram. I'll figure out a way to do that, but... So, another cool touch that we could do, watch this. So right when we could cut in. Now this is where we get kind of, this is like advanced stuff right here. I like to make cuts sometimes, and you zoom in to show like greater detail. So we can make a cut right here. Hang on, I'm trying to get it right. Boom. And then, boom, right there. So since it's pretty close, I'm going to zoom in. And when I say zoom in, remember, I mean when you stretch this bar. So then, let's switch back to our mouse. You're going to click on this tool, or on this clip, and you're going to go up here to position. At position, you have the moving left and right, as you can see here. We're gonna Control Z to undo, up and down, and then this scale is the zoom. So now another thing why you want to film in 4K is because you retain more of the bits in the video, more sharper, more clear image. So what you're going to do is we're going to, I want to get her feet on the curb, so I want to zoom in a little bit, and then we're going to move down. And you see, this is how, we're going to get into this later with how you do the keyframes, but this is how you do it. So you look how we're going to zoom in to the feet right there. Now let's just see what it looks like for this one clip. Let's zoom out. Ready? 3, 2, play. Actually, we're going to go full screen. Full screen. Oh, it's not doing it. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I'm going to save this. Adobe sometimes likes to... Oh, there it goes. It's trying to catch up. Okay, let's hit play. Now you see how that worked? Wasn't that a cool effect? Let's try it again. Like, look how... Look, you can see... This is what I mean, guys. You can see the dust. You can see, like, the pollen, you know, the dust in the air. Like, how cool is that, you know? I'll just go back a couple frames. It's just, once you learn the power of editing in Adobe, you can unlock so much. One more time here. We could do another one right here. I think we will, actually, just for fun. So let's go cut, the cut tool. See, the reason I'm doing this too is to show you guys that with repetition this gets easier and easier and easier. So we're going to cut right here. We're going to hit play. And we're going to zoom in. We're going to scoot this back a little bit. About right there. Let's see, one more. Yeah, right there. We want contact. Contact with the shoes to the concrete. Go back to this. Go back to the mouse. Make sure you're selected. And let's zoom in. Oh, now see, the playhead isn't on the clip, so you gotta make sure it's on the clip. Otherwise you'll be like, why am I not zooming in when you're looking at the wrong clip? So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, not too much. Remember, you can always Control Z. And let's see here. Okay, let's hit play and see what happens here. Make sure you zoom out because it's going to fly by that clip. You want to be able to watch it. Pretty cool, you know, just a little something. And it goes with the it matches with the song too, you know. So I do love this end part though. Let's see where we're at now with everything. Full screen. Perfect. Okay. So I think we're ready to go on to. Remember, when you're at the end, you just hit spacebar. It'll start all over. We're gonna try, let's see what we can do with color grading. Color grading can be tricky. Honestly, it's like I said, if you have a good camera and it already has good like color scaling and like good color grading options, like in my Sony A4, I've looked at reviews by like serious pros on YouTube, and they will argue that it's like sign 1 or tone 1 in the settings. It is fine how it is, so you don't really need to change anything. And I mean, you look at some of the footage, you know, right here, like look at this. This is perfect. Like I don't need to touch this. It looks so good. Also, it's, you know, bright, sunny sunrise, you know, the beginning of the day. Like the whites aren't too blown out. The skin is how it looks in real life. So are the mountains, the dirt, the trees, the sky, you know. And I just, this is what I meant earlier. When you have a monitor, you can adjust the settings correctly to bring the full depth of field of all the colors in which you are seeing perfectly. So it's up to you if you want to make it look a certain way. If you want that teal and orange look, you know, you can do that, of course. Some people just love that. They're addicted to it. But I mean, you know, be different, you know. So, but let's see. Let's see real quick what we can do. Let's go to this clip. Let's scroll up to effects. Let's go to, now you want to go to Lumetri color. You know, there's graphics, effects, you know, info, but yeah, obviously we're doing color. And you know, you can, there's certain LUTs here, okay? So let's just click one just for example. Now you see how it changes it? Look how it changes. Now, not a bad look. I mean, it's really, the sky is really saturated. You kind of see the sun. Let's see what it looks like in the full screen. You know, it kind of shows like it's really dark. Oh, well, we kind of miss her right there, which I kind of want people to see. So I might shorten this transition. I can show you how to do that. I mean, maybe this will work. So let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back to, let's see here. Let's go to input. And LUTs are just, I forget the exact acronym, but LUTs are just, that's what they call these, like filters. Okay, so that barely changed it. It barely changed it. Let's go to this one. Let's just keep going down the line here. See, there's a little bit warmer look. Sometimes when warmer is like kind of relates to temperature. So like maybe you want a warmer vibe. Now look at the sky. Isn't that cool how it does that? Now watch when we go the other way. It gives it a more cooler temperature look. I honestly kind of like this because it shows the warmness of the desert, the sunrise coming on the back. Now, yeah, you don't have to ramp it up all the way, but you know, it does look cool. Let's see what it looks like. Let's go full screen. Okay, so you see, okay, now you see how it's getting a little glitchy too, a little that has to do with rendering. So rendering is right here at the top. See how it's a red bar? It should be a green bar. When you start to add all these LUTs and transitions and all this stuff, it starts to get kind of backed up. So you have to render the entire clip, or you can just do sections of the clip, and you need to get it to a green bar. Now, every time you mess with it, you have to re-render it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but once you get it, you know, exactly how you want it, it will be, this will all be green at the top, and it'll be smooth, perfect. So maybe, let me go like this. Let's hit none for real quick. So here it is. Let's check it out. Do we want to keep this is the question. Does this look good to your eye? That's a good question, but before I do that, before I change anything else, I see that little window there. I'm going to drag this over, or I'm going to make it shorter. You can make it longer, and shorter. So I'm going to make it a little bit shorter so we see Michelle at the end there, because that's kind of like a clue, Boom, right there. So we see her pop up, and then play. That's perfect. That's what you want. Once you do this a few times, guys, you start to get the hang of it, and you start to get into the mindset of how you should be, setting up your shots, and you only get better as you go. So do we want? I honestly did like that color. Whoops. What was it? The Universal DCI. Maybe you adjust the temperature on it or something. Maybe you make it. Maybe you do like 50. Tint. You can mess with the tint. You can make it all kinds of different colors. Always Control Z if you want it to go back to 0. Saturation. You're gonna make it look a certain way, of course. If it's too dark, this is where I was talking about. You always want to underexpose, meaning film darker, but not too dark, of course. But here's what happens, you can really light things up. But look what happens to the sky. So you got to be careful. So you have to be careful with how dark your ISO is and your shutter speed as well. Really, all of the things. If you don't know what the shutter triangle is, or the I think they call it the ISO triangle or something like that, or the triangle basically. It's exposure triangle. Excuse my language there. It's basically ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. You need to learn those three things and how they all correlate with each other in order to get a perfect picture. Now again, sometimes you're fighting the sky, and then it's like, well, I want the sky, but I want to have a bright desert landscape, and it's like, well, okay. It's like, but you can't really have one or the other sometimes, unless maybe you have, like I mentioned earlier, ND filter. It's called a neutral density is what it stands for. And what that does is it kind of allows you, it blocks out like the glare of the sun, to my knowledge. I had one for my old camera, and it makes it, if there's a really bright sunset or sunrise, you're able to capture everything, and it makes it just kind of like a neutral color, or neutralizes the the glare of the sun. But I mean, look, you could mess with the contrast, but like, let's take a look at it here. You can't really, like, yes, it is the sunset coming up over the horizon, and yeah, you can't, you just have to understand, you the viewer, can't see this yet because it's dark still, but also you don't want it too washed out. Now obviously, if you see where this is the sun right here, and if you still have some blue in the background, that to me is acceptable, because it's not entirely washed out, and that just means that the sun is rising. But I mean, yeah, you can still tweak everything. Let's go Control Z. Now, that's a little too dark for me, honestly. So I'm going to go Control Shift Z to redo, because I like how it shows, it lights up some of this landscape, and that's what we want, Let's do highlights. What will highlights do? Okay, so you see that highlights light up the sun, and like the whites. So let's do that again. Let's see how bright it makes it. So that's kind of washed out a little bit. So I'm gonna go Control Z, and we're gonna go, let's go Control Z one more time. Yeah, it just kind of takes it down a bit. I think that's okay because you see now how some of the yellow is starting to show up. Now watch, I'm gonna go Control Z. Now you see how that goes away? I'm gonna do Control Shift Z again to go back. Now see how it's showing more of the sky? That's what we want. So this is even more acceptable. You know, there's less white where there was white right here and right here before. So I think now you're starting to understand that you don't ever want to shoot too bright, because if you shoot too bright, there's no going back. But if you underexpose, shooting in a darker setup or environment, and as long as you have, you know, I'd say 50% light, 50 to 60% light, you can brighten it quite a bit. So now you see here, shadows is another thing. But look what's happening to the sky once again. Okay, we don't want that. So we're going to go Control Z. We're going to redo that. Now what happens if we go the other way with shadows? It makes it even darker. But look what happens to the sky. It makes the sky and the sunrise really kind of stand out. So let's hit play once just to see what happens. Okay, but that's a little too dark and a little too quick to go from that dark to this bright, in my opinion. So we want to leave it. Let's go Control Z and see. Make sure you're on the right clip, because this changes each clip. That's another thing you have to go through each clip, and it's kind of it can be a daunting, you know, it can be quite the task, but you know, that's the name of the game. So here we're taking away some white. Obviously you can add more. We don't want that because that is very unnatural. So I'm going to go Control Z. It's honestly good how it is. This aura right here, this is natural. That is that's pretty close to like natural, as you can see. Okay, so what else do we got here? We have you can also obviously darken the blacks, and you can you know, lighten it, but that looks also very unnatural. So let's Control Z, back to normal, and you know, I think I'm happy with this first part, this first clip. You know, let's go. I did universal DCI. So let's see what pops up on this one for universal DCI, because it's going to look different for everything. Okay, so you see how it gives it a different color. You know, you see how it's like it's got the LUT on, you know, it's got the filter. Let's, you know, you can take a look, you can see the buildings and stuff in the background, but let's go back. Let's do control. Actually, let's go Control Z. Okay, so you see the difference. Let's go back a few frames to see the mountain. Alright, ready? So we're gonna go Control Shift Z. So it kind of brings out like like makes it darker. You know, makes the mountain really stand out. That's for sure. You know, so it's like, what do you want is the question. You know, what do you want to do? You know, like, or maybe you pick a different LUT. Let's try one of these. You know, see how the mountain stands out there. But look at the rocks. I mean, it's kind of unnatural. You know, like, that was not the color that I saw with my own eyes. Let's try this second one. Again, and it's a little lighter, and it goes a little lighter and a little lighter. But let's go to universal. What's this HD? Okay, so same thing, but like a little less darker, I believe. Okay, now it's getting a little brighter again. Okay, now this is just like washed out. We don't want that. So I think what we're gonna do is we'll do none, because I do like how it is. And you just go in and you manually do it yourself. So you scroll down here. Now there's there's different things too. There's like there's even more. There's even more LUTs. Look at all these. You're probably wondering to yourself, like, what in the world? Like, how am I ever gonna find? I mean, it takes time. You know, you gotta go through these and see what you like. Let's see. Let's click this sign one. See what it looks like. So it just gives it, you know, this. I mean, that does look cool. It's like spotlighting the sun, or the sun is spotlighting the mountain. You know, but the rest of this is dark. I don't know if I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's choose another one. Let's see what we like. This one's kind of the same as none. Let's click none. You know, so it makes things a little bit darker. You have to excuse me, I have bad allergies. You know, it's just like, what do you want? What do you want? There's a cool like black and white look. Monochrome, it's just kind of the same thing. A little darker monochrome. Lighter yet. SL big. This gives it like a cool temperature look, you know. Let's see what none looks like again. Let's go full screen. Let's go Control Z. Oops. Oh, well, it's because it's got all the other ones. Okay, well, let's just go SL big, and then let's go none. So, as you can see here, do Control Z. So it's like a little cooler here. Control Shift Z, and there's normal, cooler. You know, normal, cooler. So I mean, do you want that? It just depends what you want, guys. You know, oops. So you have to decide, you know, what you want. Color grading is honestly, it's like the hardest, kind of the hardest part. But it doesn't have to be. You know, you just pick something that looks good. Everything looks different to. Like, perspective-wise, you know, everybody is different in that sense. And, you know, the way that you produce this final video is the way that they're going to see it forever, right? So they're never going to know that it looked like this. You know, they're never going to know that it looked, you know, like this or whatever, you know, with all these different filters I'm choosing. They're gonna see that, oh, it was really, you know, this, you know, like that's how it looked to them, and that was what you shot it in, that's what you saw it in, etc., etc. You know, gold, orange, you know, that's kind of cool. Like, look at that. That's actually not bad. You give it that look, you know, but then you go back to like a, you know, and it's like, they label these for a reason. Gold Western, gold tobacco, you know, because whatever environment you're in, you can kind of match it up by the wording. You know, I think I actually like that other one. So I'm going to go Control Z. I like that because it makes the mountain look a little bit more, a little golden kind of look, like sunrise look, you know, which it is sunrise, to this way, which is the east. So I'm going to move on from, you know, here, you know, let's just, you know, I'm just curious, what does this look like with gold? Just out of curiosity, you know? What was it? Gold, orange? You know? So let's go back once. So that's actually kind of cool. Let's go full screen. Go Control Shift Z. I actually like that. Now the rest of this is kind of dark. you know, but it just depends, you know, what you want. Hang on, my Adobe is catching up. There we go. Let's go Control Z. You know, I like that you can kind of sort of see, but like I do, like that yellow was pretty cool. So I think we're gonna go with that yellow, you know. Now, yes, it's a little dark, but the fact that you can see the sunrise is pretty sick, and you can still see her. You know, so I think we'll leave it like that. That's fine. It says, you know, the name of the song is, you know, until the sun needs to rise. So we're really playing into the song, into the lyrics, into the name of the song itself. So here we go. Let's let it play. Okay, we're showing them that it is. The sun is rising. It's getting, you know, brighter out. We're gonna go through this entire thing. Some of it I may change, some of it I might not. So just hang in there. So right here, it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? What does intensity do? You know, intensity. You know, some of these things, they don't do anything, or you really gotta pay attention to what they do. Let's go down to gold orange, and usually you want to stick with your one LUT or your one filter. Now, let's be honest here. This looks pretty good. Let's go Control Z to undo. You know, it's like this, what we're seeing right now is nice, but it's kind of plain. Like, this is the true color of what I was seeing, what we were seeing, yes. But, you know, in the cinematic world, you're allowed to change things. Now that, to me, looks cool. It looks nice, you know. It is a bit cooler, yes, but that's the name of the game, you know. So you can take that and apply that to the rest of these. Let's see what happens on this one. Let's go to let's see if we can apply it to all of them. So there you go. You got that nice. Now let's see what it looked like before. You know, it doesn't really mess things up too much. If anything, it just adds more of like that gold look. Let's see. Now let's see. You know, if you want to fix, let's click off of creative and go to basic correction. Let's fix like let's do the exposure a little bit because it is kind of dark. Now, obviously, that's too much. And you just want to slide it until it's to your liking, you know. The only reason I'm saying that is just because of this area right here is a little dark for me personally, but you can see because she has the cut-off shirt, you can see the outline of her hands, her back, which isn't bad. But let's see if we can take the shadows up. There we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. And you still got the gold mountain in the back, which we changed. So we're actually going to go back. So let's say if we do Control Z, right? Now you tell me. No shadows versus shadows. Gone. I think that looks good because look, you can see the reflection of the light on her face. It's a little washed out over here, but you know, this is why you gotta tweak it, play with it. So let's go Control Z one more time just so you can see the difference. Wait for it to take effect. You know, you can still see some of it. You know, let's go Control Shift Z one more time. You know, I think we'll you know, you never want to do 100 on everything, on anything. So maybe we'll take it, you know, and if you need to do this a couple times to kind of see it visually, you can do that. Just go slow, and maybe we'll go like to 50. You know, again, I can't do that precisely, so I'm going to click on it, 50, enter. So let's see what it looks like. You know, that works for me. Looking for the thing I choose. Okay, Adobe is catching up. Another thing, when you're gonna do this, like make sure you have a good computer with lots of lots of RAM storage. Let's see, so the next thing we're going to do is scroll over to this clip here. So this is the clip I've been waiting for. Because this clip and the next one look really good. Now let's see what these mountains look like. Let's go to, like, sure, we could do the basic correction, but, you know, time is of the essence, and people put a lot of hard work into creating these really nice filters for a reason, so you can simply click on them. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so not much of a major difference. Let's go Control Z to see what we look like. So I like it. I like the gold. I like how it lights up the plants, the shrubs, or the you know, foliage, whatever you want to call it. Let's go Control Z. Yeah, see, because although this does look good, this is the true color. It's okay to, you know, make it more vibrant. So let's go Control Shift Z. Yeah, that looks sick. You know, look at the face. You know, the gold of the sun kind of like hitting it, you know, and then passing through it onto the skin. That looks really good, you know. So same with this one. You already know. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna go to gold, orange. Boom! Look at that. That just looks so good. You know, really, some of these filters, these LUTs, they're called. They help bring out the colors. Like, look, like just this 4K just really shines through. You'll see right here, it is kind of like washed out. So, boom, boom, boom. To make sure we do all these. I think you can click if you do hold multiple. Okay, no, yeah, I won't let you. Unfortunately, you gotta do one at a time. So what I recommend is maybe color grading in the beginning once you get your clips trimmed. Just makes it easier, because when you go through it, you have more cuts, more splits. It's kind of a pain, as you can see, but I mean, we're cruising, we're moving right along. So face is a bit washed out, as you can see, with the white. Like, it does look good. But let's go back. We want to do things right. We want to go to, where is basic correction, and we want to correct the whites or the highlights. So let's try the highlights first. So you see her face. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. However, it looks a little, you know, unnatural. It's kind of dark. So you want some highlight, obviously, but not too much. So maybe about right, you know, that's decent. You can even go to the whites. You can change the whites. Now you see how we kind of brought it back down to what it was before almost, but that's not natural, because you can see the dimness of the entire screen. So let's bring it up a little bit. Okay, way too much. Now this is where you scroll very slowly. So I'd say, you know, right there is good. You want a little bit of shine, a little bit of reflection. You know, look at that, perfect. You can see the detail in the cheek. Okay, so that's done. Another dark clip here. So we're gonna go to basic, and go back to creative. And these are just different other options you could do. You know, you have to take the time to, you know, mess around with this stuff. You know, sharpen. This is pretty cool. So look at this. Sharpen. I'm going to go Control Z. So you see how it's blurry? Now I'm going to go Control Shift Z. Watch the shoelaces. You see how the sharpen effect makes everything super smooth. So watch, even if we go back on this last clip, this is gonna be pretty cool. Watch this. Okay, so if we go sharpen on this, watch. Oh, okay, so see what happens sometimes? You have to be careful with this tool because it's very powerful. You know, if you do too much, watch. If you do too much, you start to see some of that grain that popped up. You know, watch if I push it. If you push it too much, okay, well maybe it might just be I think it's just a display thing right here. Like if we max it out and we look at it, let's see what happens. Or it might just be loading. But, I mean, dang, it does look good, but let's go, what was it? I think it was at just 0. So I'll just 0 it out, right? Now, let's make sure again, right? Like, it's nice, right? Like, the face is nice, but we could make it a little better. So sure, why don't we take it up to like, you know, 45. We'll see what happens. You know, that's way better. Look at that. It's you know, it's beautiful. So there's that. Now, again, yeah, anything you want to be sharpened, go back over it and, you know, and do it. I don't mind the shoes like that. Like, look how clean that looks. You know, you can see the ring, the polish of the nail. We'll leave that, and we're going to go back to the gold. Also, I'm going to tell you guys one other thing. Okay, so this is good. I do want it to be a little brighter, though, so let's see if we can fix that somehow. There's also vibrance. Vibrance is just makes it more vibrant, as you can tell. Let's go Control Z. Saturation, just makes it more saturated. You know, I'm not gonna mess with that too much. Let's go. What does this do? I think this. What does this do? Ah, so that's cool. That swipes through the different filters. Let's make sure we have it set on gold orange. Now we're going to go back to basic correction because we want to try and expose this a little bit. Now you see that, right? Now we don't want it to be too bright because we're missing the blue in the background. I would say, you know, right there could be good. As long as you have some blue, some white, that's okay. You know, let's see what this looks like. Boom, look at that. So much brighter. So much brighter, guys. And this is the nice thing. You get yourself a nice camera, a nice lens, and it's going to blur out the background and focus on what should be focused on, which is the shoe and the shot. So let's hit play. Look at that. Look at the detail. Look at this. It's incredible. Okay, so yeah, a lot of it is easy, you know, and you got to go through, and we're gonna go back to creative, go to orange, what was that? Orange gold? What the heck is it? Gold orange, you know. Let's go Control Z once to undo it. Redo it. Undo it. Redo it. Now, I do like how the green of the trees was here. Or were. But again, you know, it's because of different angles are going to project and make light hitting the objects differently. You know, so like I actually kind of like how this looks when I hit play once. Like, because look at the rocks in the background on the left, the light, they look good. They look good, honestly. Now, can you tell the difference between right here, you know, can you tell the difference from right here or right here to right here where we're at now? Not really. No, you can't. Now, sure, maybe I could tweak it a little bit, you know. This is just sharpening it a little bit. That's a very powerful tool, by the way. You know, you could go 100. I just, you know, I don't know if you want to max out the sharpening because it's going to make your final project like just huge, and it's going to be a lot of data. So, you know, you go easy on the sharpen tool, because if you're already filming with a nice camera, then you don't have to worry about that much. You know, the human eye can only see, like, I forgot what it is, but, you know, the 4K is good enough. That's ridiculously sharp. So, let's see here. You know, if anything, maybe we go to, maybe we, you know, see, like, you could make it a more warm temperature because it's a sunrise, right? But it almost looks like maybe it's the end of the day even. You go cooler, and you just change everything, you know, it just changes the entire look, changes the entire feel. So here's 0, you know. I think I want to have it a little bit warmer, honestly. I'm going to have just a little bit warmer. Okay. Your shadows, you know, whatever you want to change. You know, you could show in each clip that it is getting a little bit warmer. You could do that if you wanted to. You know. Oh, now see how that changed there. Anything that you do, we're going to have to do to every single clip. So even this little clip, because that just changed, as you see here. Look, it went right here, and then it went boom, you know. So you have to remember the settings. So what, 49.5, and what else did I do? Temperature 38.7. So 49, 38.7, right? So just type it in, 38.7, and what was it? What do we do? You just click off. I forget a lot. Shadows, 49.5. 49.5. Now understand too, you could mess with any one of these and it's going to change it up. It's just all according to you. What do you think needs to be changed, etc. You know, do the whites need to be brought up? They need to be brought down? You know, like, you know, Control Z to undo. Make sure you play this back so it looks flawless. Out across the border, fall into a daydream of you. And again, the reason it's looking a little glitchy right now is because we need to render it still, which we will do that in a little bit. Now the sun is starting to come out. The sun is out right here, so this is going to be interesting because we don't know quite what the sun looks like yet on this filter with gold orange. So here we go. If you don't wanna go there too. Not bad, honestly. It does make her skin tone look a little darker at least. But I mean, let's go Control Z. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, you know, it's not. I mean, it is noticeable, a noticeable difference. So what you can do is, let's go. Okay, so let's go, you know, we'll sharpen it a little bit here. We'll go like 40. Keep everything at like 40 across the board, I guess. And I think what we're going to do, I want to be able to see her face so I can see my adjustments real time here. I think what we're going to do is maybe go to basic correction. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, look at that. Doesn't that look pretty? That's incredible. See, manipulation with the colors, just it can do so much. Now you guys are starting to see how movies look so beautiful. They do it, you know, industry standard. They do it a lot with Adobe. I honestly like it maxed. It looks pretty darn good. However, her face was still a little dark, but let's go back here a sec. Okay, bear with me. Computer is catching up. We may have to render this before we're done for the certain parts to catch up. But this just looks sick because the sun is beaming on these hills, kind of casting its warm glow. Okay, so, however, her face is still a little dark, so we're going to bring up the shadows, I believe. Oh, other way. If it doesn't work one way, just reverse it. So you see how her, you know, life is coming back to her skin, you know, her face. Let's do 65. There is no right or wrong number, just what looks best to your eye, what looks, like, look at this. This is looking good. Let's hit play. Now, yes, it's looking very warm and glowy there, I will admit. Like, why don't the rest of them look like this, you know? Well, that's because the sun is not up yet, you know? I mean, I could make this temperature, you know, like that, but it just doesn't work yet because the sun is not. I mean, also, let's go to, I know I'm kind of going all around here, going all over, but just bear with me because I need you guys to learn this stuff. If we go to orange gold, let's see what it looks like. Okay, I mean, it's gonna give it this, you know, it does look good, not gonna lie, you know. Let's go back, Control Z, you know, maybe we'll keep it, screw it, you know. It does bring out the mountains, it brings out the orange in the mountains, kind of like Sedona, Arizona, have you ever been up there? So I will go to, yeah, creative, and I actually will. I'll change my mind, you know. Gold, and that was with yeah, 100% on temperature. Don't forget temperature. Boom. It's just gonna give it that. I know I even said kind of almost sunset vibe earlier, but as you know, you can see that this is, you know, clearly it's a sunrise. See, and that makes this allowable to me because, you know, it's sunrise. The sun is coming up, yada yada. Some of you might not agree with the temperature. It's like too glowy. Okay, well, maybe we go like 58, 60, you know, that right there. Although it does look good, that's like a movie. I mean, this is a music video, sure, but you guys, like, sometimes you want to push it all the way, just 'cause it looks so good. But, you know, you have to be kind of forgiving, you know. You have to be, what's the word, you know, like, even though you want to really push it all the way, you want to, you know, you can't be too greedy with it. I mean, we could go all the way, you know, and it's hard. It's a hard choice. We could go like because I do like some of that warm glow, so maybe we go like 80, you know. 80's not bad. You know, that is acceptable. It's not like we didn't overdo it, you know. So why don't we go back? We'll go back to this clip. We'll type in 80 as well. So that way it all stays sort of, you know, relevant. close to each other. Okay, so let's go here. This clip. Let's do, we already know what we want. Creative. Also, I'm going to tell you guys something that I was going to mention earlier real quick, is that you can change an entire color grade of a video just by using curves. Curves are a little complicated at first, but you take these, hang on, let me go Control Z. You go to RGB curves, is it? Okay, so here's the curves. There's so many different things. You just have to kind of play around with these and get used to them. But the RBG curves, let's say you click here. Let's see, is it changing anything? Okay, 1, 2. Oh yeah, so look at the screen, you know. Let's say you pick the reds and you want to change the, like the blue. Okay, see how it's changing there? So I know that's really dramatic. I'm just showing you an example. But, you know, let's say blue would be like the sky and the cool, you know. And it changes the, yeah, it takes a sec because we've done a lot and it's catching up. But you can adjust multiple points, as you can see. And you can do a whole video just on the curves alone. However, there's many other ways, and we're going to go Control Z, Z, Z. I'm just showing you guys this. We're not going to be doing curves. What is this? HLS secondary? There's so much. Vignette, you know, there's a lot. What is this? You know, feather, you know, roundness, you know. There's HLS secondary, some of the stuff I never use. That's fine, you know, because we're working with enough, honestly. So we're gonna make this, you know, we can make this as warm as we want. What do we say, 80? Let's see what it looks like on 80. Let's go full screen. Okay, I want to note something out here. You can kind of see the pollution in the background, which is interesting. Okay, so we're going to bring up the shadows because she's kind of, you know, the roof is covering. So we're going to bring up the shadows quite a bit. You know, it's dark. That's pretty dark. Let's go 70. Let's see what we got here. Okay, you can still see her eyes, her skin, you know, well. You know, because of the dark hair and then being under the shadow of the roof already, it does kind of limit us. But I mean, it still looks good, even if it's a silhouette. The fact that she wore white was a great outfit for this.